I serve as a rifleman in the militia, fighting to free the frontier. I'm a long way from becoming a pilot. But when that day comes, I hope I can live up to the honor.
There's nothing quite like the feeling of seeing a Titan drop straight from the sky. You don't even see it at first as you look up. You just hear it. It's a faint whisper that immediately turns into a sky-cracking rumble before it furiously lands on the ground, gigantic gun in hand, ready for battle. It gets you pumped up, ready for the firefight shortly ahead. Weirdly, these moments don't really happen much in the campaign, but because of the scarcity, when it does happen, it's an impactful moment that's sure to give you chills. Especially as you see the battle on the ground below being waged. There's tracer fire going back and forth, explosions are frequent, and it's all lifted by an orchestra that swells in the background. I wasn't really sure what to expect from the Titanfall 2 campaign, and with a lot of first-person shooters out there that are going for darker, more serious tones, Titanfall 2's campaign feels fresher than most, more lively and confident of itself. Respawn Entertainment really makes use of the game's awesome traversal system and really caters all the levels in the game toward agile movement. You'll definitely be doing a lot of wall running. And while the campaign took me about 5 hours to complete, the action never really let up. And even the slower moments were great. I was always engaged. Simply put, Titanfall 2's campaign is short and sweet, but mostly it's just flat out fun.
Power at 2/3. Data core reinitialized. Ocular system online. Adjusting focus. Are you alright, pilot?
While Titanfall 2 features some awesome set pieces and eventual Titan-on-Titan brawling, the story is closely knit between the interactions of main protagonist Jack Cooper and the Titan known as BT-7274.
You may call me BT.
Who kinda reminds me of a combination of Optimus Prime and Dog from Half-Life 2. Once they link up, they have to finish the mission BT's previous pilot could not accomplish. The initial moments, once you get on your feet, as you scour for batteries to power up BT, are all about traversing a vibrant and lush jungle. You'll see native exotic creatures roaming about, some that want to kill you, as well as beautiful pristine waterfalls and clear, shallow ponds, all in 60 frames per second. It really reminds me of Pandora from Avatar. Eventually, the initial awe you might have felt is put to the side as enemy IMC soldiers bar your progress to your immediate goal. Nothing some firepower can't handle though. Throughout the course of Jack and BT's journey, a friendship forms. At first, Jack is pretty hesitant and nervous about piloting a Titan. But BT's voice?
Threat neutralized. Well done.
Reassurance.
Nice caution while navigating this facility's substation.
And humor.
There is a 32% chance of an incomplete traversal, resulting in catastrophic trauma, massive internal bleeding, and multiple compound fractures.
Just make you feel like he's got your back at all times.
Got you.
Especially when his presence is always there through your earpiece. After each firefight, after each seemingly unwinnable situation, a trust between them forms.
Request permission to retain this link.
You'll take out enemy soldiers together. You'll fight enemy Titans together. You'll separate to find a way through a level together. And one of the most interesting things the game adds are dialogue choices for Jack to respond to BT. It's a simple thing, but choosing to answer helps build a layer of interaction that I'm not really used to in first-person shooters. By the end of their mission, they form an unbreakable bond, and as a player, you become invested in both characters, hoping for their well-being. Let me get this out of the way first. The shooting is very responsive, and the feedback you get from eliminating enemies feels pretty damn good. Popping someone in the head and seeing their helmet fly off like an ejector seat with a gush of spurting blood looks and feels so satisfying. You just want to do it again and again, just to get that visual confirmation. And you'll be popping craniums all day, as droves of enemies line their heads up in your sights, especially running and gunning within the awesome set pieces Titanfall 2 offers. One involves a huge, almost endless cavernous factory that assembles buildings from floor to ceiling complete with furniture. Another one happens toward the end of the game as you're chasing a ship. You ride on top of a ship, hop to another ship, and wall run from section to section, all the while moving at incredible speed as the dangerously close trees zip by down below. During the campaign, you'll also meet the villains one by one, each with their own Titan. And while the narrative is pretty thin overall with these baddies, their boss fights can be challenging as you'll have to figure out their strengths and weaknesses. It's a good thing you can switch to any Titan you've unlocked so far in the campaign to see which one works best. For instance, the Sniper Titan North Star can be a beast against other ranged Titans, taking off chunks of life. And while it has tethers and a hover ability, a sneaky quick Ronin equipped with a sword can do a lot of damage. It's a rock, paper, scissors battle as you control these lumbering but surprisingly agile and powerful machines. When their core abilities are available, however, all bets are off as the sheer firepower for each Titan are capable of demolishing another one easily with air volleys, chest beams, and more. There's one level I have to talk about, and it's probably under some spoiler territory, but at one point in the story, you acquire a time travel device, and you move back and forth in time at will with the press of a button. It's a great idea because you get moments in the game like this. But it's also used for level traversal like this. And this. Things can get pretty frantic during the shootouts, but wall running and jumping through the levels using the time ability was a standout moment for me. That was like some Prince of Persia level stuff there, and it made me feel like a smooth operating badass. I finished Titanfall 2 in one sitting on the day of release. Feeling numb afterward, I paced around my room watching the credits. My first thought was, man, my left thumb feels really sore. And my second thought was, man, I just played a really friggin' awesome campaign. It was just a pleasure to play the levels Respawn Entertainment had designed. You know, in some games, they're just a level or two or three that you just hated playing. In Titanfall 2, none of that existed for me. They were all pretty consistent throughout, with some areas just giving higher highs. The main thing, though, that I want to come back to are the two main characters of the story, Jack and BT. Their journey from strangers to loyal friends while trying to complete their mission is the core of the story, the heartbeat. And as crazy as the action can get, it's good to know these two characters can count on each other in the most dire of situations. Titanfall 2's single-player campaign comes highly recommended.